What's good, friends? Christopher here with the hopezy.life, and I just got done with some urban hiking. That's what I call, walking around your city. Not just around the block, but like when you really walk around your city. Go up and down streets, through alleyways, and you just kind of explore the city. Maybe you stop at a park for a little bit, chat up a couple who's walking their dog, talk to the dude who's got his line in the water, see what he's catching. Do these types of things. Maybe stop by, a little cafe or a coffee shop and just kind of chill on the patio for a bit. Walk through, the parking lot of a major shopping area. Just get some miles in, right? And I did this for, one main reason. I've been busting my tail lately. I have been so filled with life and energy to do the work that God called me to do, to serve the people God called me to serve, that I haven't been able to sleep very much. I was looking at my fitness tracker report in the app today, and I've been averaging less than 4 hours of sleep for the last week. Now, it's not completely accurate. I didn't wear it every night to bed. So, take it with a grain of salt. But either way, that's a pretty minimal amount of sleep. And I'm feeling it, but I'm also still full of energy, right? And so today, after working from probably about, I don't know, 5 to, what time is it right now even? I don't know, 5 to 2-ish, 3-ish. I was like, I need to burn off some of this energy. I got to go ground myself. And so, I went for the urban hike. I could have driven out to one of the amazing trails that are in the Phoenix area. It's the most underrated hiking metro in America, easily. I know Colorado's amazing. I know there's other amazing places, but Phoenix has so many just gorgeous trails and really accessible mountains. Like 1,500 to, technically I think the Superstitions would be the largest mountain in still kind of the Phoenix metro. It's a little bit outside. It's kind of like Apache Junction, Gold Canyon, which, some people consider part of Phoenix, some people don't. But either way, and that, the Superstitions, the highest peak is like, I want to say 5,000 and, was it like 5,030, 40, 50, 60 feet, something like that, give or take, above sea level. But the trailhead to get up there is going to be somewhere around 15, 16, 1,700 feet. So you're not actually climbing that full 5,000. It's just really approachable, right? You can get to the top of a mountain pretty easily. It doesn't take it's not like an all day thing. You're not climbing a 14 or anything like that. So anyway, I digress. Phoenix is awesome to hike in, but urban hiking is so cool too. Like when you just kind of just start walking with no particular destination, leave your phone at home, just bring your keys, and you just kind of start making turns. Like I've never walked down this little alley. I've never gone behind this building. I've never, and you just kind of explore and you see new things. It's novelty, which is something that our brains crave. And, I stopped at a park for a while. Dip my toes in the water. Maybe I already said that. Maybe I'm more tired than I thought. Anyway, watch the birds, the other animals. Stared at the clouds for a little bit. Did a little bit of stretching and just kind of meditated the whole time. Because that's the cool thing with meditation, right? Is obviously we're all familiar of kind of like the Buddha, like the meditative pose and sitting with your eyes closed and you're like in a particular posture. But the reality is that practice of doing it in that way is so you can meditate all the time. It's so you can be in a constant meditative state. And when you're in a constant meditative state, your brain is producing alpha waves. And alpha waves, they match up to water. Kind of if you think the old ancient elements, earth, air, water, fire, and ether, the five elements, right? Well, water syncs up with alpha waves. And the reason that it syncs up with alpha waves is because when you're in that meditative state, you're more tranquil, you're producing more serotonin, and you're just kind of more flowy. Just kind of go in with the flow. And it's a real great way to be. I mean, obviously, you're maybe not going to do that all the time. There's a time and a place to, get yourself into that high beta, move into gamma wave, this real fast amplitude wave, north of, say like 30 to maybe 50 hertz, right in that high beta to low gamma range. Get the dopamine, the adrenaline going, get some of the benefits of gamma waves as far as like insight, clarity, extreme focus and awareness, increased glutamate production, coinciding with GABA production, which is a semi-paradoxical thing, because glutamate is the primary excitatory neurotransmitter, whereas GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid, is the primary inhibitory neurotransmitter. So it's counterintuitive that you would be releasing both at the same time in significant amounts. But when you get into that gamma wave state, that's what your brain is doing. And so it's good to experience all the waves. I mean, get down into theta, which is like the air element, right? And it's the air element because it's the learning wave. You're producing more acetylcholine. You're in a more neurally plastic state. And this is why, like kids have way more theta waves than adults do, generally speaking. And this is why kids can learn languages way easier than adults can learn languages. And it's also why kids are spacey, right? They're, oh, butterfly, that type of thing. It's because of more theta waves. And so, hence air-headed, right? We can look at beta waves, which we were talking about, again, give or take like 12 to 35 hertz. And this is Earth consciousness. And the reason it's Earth consciousness is it's going to ground you to reality. Now, whether or not you like the reality, I mean, that's up to what you're doing and your experience you're having, but you're going to really feel the material world. That's what you're going to perceive the most of. It's going to seem like all there is when you're in beta waves. And that's a big problem in kind of modern Western society, especially with like hustle culture, grind culture, all that stuff. Because when you're stuck so much in that and all you think is real is the material world, you miss out on so much. I mean, scientists have shown us that our five senses perceive less than 1% of what there is. But what there is, that 99% still exists. So you can actually perceive it. It's just not with sight, hearing, taste, touch, or smell. It's with the Holy Spirit or intuition, or I don't want to pigeonhole you into particular language to use, but it's a sixth sense that you're able to perceive that with. So it's good to make sure that you're getting the full gamut of brain waves going on. So fire, just to complete what we're talking about here, fire would be mapped out to delta waves. Delta waves, kind of like 0 to 3 hertz-ish, give or take. Super big amplitude, but really, really low frequency. And this is your sleep wave. And because of the big amplitude, because of how low frequency it is, this is why it's like the repairing wave, like human growth hormone. There's more to all of this than what I'm saying. I'm obviously just kind of giving like a glossed over overview, but what it does, especially when you get into like REM sleep, dream sleep, which is so important, like that 4th, 5th stage of sleep. If you're missing out on that, it's a big problem. It's one of the reasons why weed is so detrimental. And I can say this as somebody who used weed for the majority of my life. It prevents you from getting into those stages of sleep. You don't really dream anymore, or like you don't remember them. And if you're not remembering your dreams, you're not getting as much REM sleep as you need. Not saying you need to like remember every dream vividly, But if you're not remembering dreams at all, that means you're not getting REM sleep. You're not getting that fourth, fifth stage, which you absolutely need. That's what clears out, kind of the junk that your body produces as it goes about whatever you're doing, and it recycles, and that whole process of cellular regeneration, et cetera, et cetera. And so the other benefit, and the reason it maps out to fire, is because dreams have the ability to sort of burn down conceptions. You might have a dream where that something is going to happen in the future, and then it happens, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, that was weird. Or you might have a dream about a particular person, and then they call you the next day. There's all kinds of interesting things with dreams that can snap somebody out of the illusion that the material world is all there is. And so it's really important to get that. And then finally, gamma would be ether, right? And so ether, spirit, different names for things, but the reason, in large part, that is gamma is it's a really high frequency, but it's super, super low amplitude. And so with like current modern instrumentation, we can detect it, but it's hard to distinguish it from other things that our instrumentation can detect. We just don't quite have the precise enough instrumentation to detect it 100% accurately and know that that's what we're picking up. But there's a high correlation to increased IQ with gamma waves. I mean, that's one of the cool things with the way that our brains work, the way that our minds work, is nobody is dumb. Everyone is literally a genius and capable of genius. You just need to produce more gamma waves. And I mean, you could look at like superhero movies, right? Like look at Bruce Banner, right? Gamma. There's all sorts of things that point to this understanding. It's just most people don't connect all the dots because there's an infinite number of dots, and the only way to connect an infinite number of dots in an infinite matrix of infinite matrices is a highly advanced form of calculaic thinking, which, there's a form of math that I have created. I haven't really shared it with many people, but it's unidecimalic deiretry, which you can look into Latin words and things of this nature to try to understand what I mean with that form of math. But it's it steps out of like base 10 thinking. It moves into base 11. Anyway, there's kind of there's a lot to it, obviously, but what made me develop it was looking into different number systems from the past. And I'm going to get some of the specifics wrong, but I think the Babylonians had a base 60 system. The Sumerians, they might have been base 60, but there's civilizations that were base 12, base 16, all these different kinds of number systems. But, obviously in a modern life, we've got the base 10 system. And so many people just get locked into thinking that's how numbers work. But that's missing the point. Numbers it's a symbol. It's an abstract. And I believe it's a Jordan Peterson quote, and I'm probably going to butcher it a little bit, but something like, fiction is sometimes more real than nonfiction in the same way that numbers are real. Because in many ways, the abstract is more real than the concrete. So again, numbers are a symbol, and the utilization of numbers, in particular, as I'm talking about here, as far as like the base 10 versus base 60 versus base 11 or whatever the case may be, it's setting up the framework of understanding how everything operates. And there's limitations within each of the systems. So you have to be able to truly understand math. You have to be able to think in all base number systems simultaneously, which is obviously easier said than done. But yeah, I'm going off on a tangent. I was going to make this video about hiking, and here I am just kind of going with the flow. But yeah, I mean, here's some reasons why hiking is one of the single greatest things that you can do for yourself and make it a discipline in your life that you just commit to daily. And again, it doesn't always have to be, driving and going to a trail. You can just start walking from your house, your apartment, whatever, and just walk and put on 5, 6, 10, 15, 20 miles route yourself back home. And that's a hike. You know, you may not get as much elevation, but that's fine. Sometimes it's nice to hike where you're not really working up that big of a sweat. I mean, we recently had a storm come through with Hurricane Priscilla. And so we had a lot of rain, temperature dropped, humidity's up, but I mean, temperature's awesome, especially, getting done with summer in Phoenix. Obviously, everybody knows how hot it gets down here. And so just being able to go out and put some miles on my feet, it was amazing. And one of the cool things with the way that, this carbon-based meat suit works, and we know this through EMDR, eye movement desensitization reprocessing, I believe it stands for. But when your eyes move laterally, so like not your head moving, but your eyes moving laterally, your brain's producing acetylcholine. And as we mentioned with theta waves, when your brain's producing acetylcholine, it's helping you enter into a neuroplastic state, which is allowing you to create new neural connections, sort of dismantle old neural connections, and really rewire your brain. And in large part, the reason that we developed this way, the reason we developed this way, we evolved this way, is because as we move through physical space, we need to be looking for food sources, for shelter, for other resources. And so we need to have our eyes being able to scan things. And as we move through new space, as we explore, we're creating a map in our mind. And so in order to create that map in your mind, you need to be in a neuroplastic state, da, 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 da. So it's a pretty slick little biohack, if you will, or whatever you want to call it. But again, just make yourself walk. Get at least 10,000 steps a day. It's really not that hard. You don't have to do it all at one time. But 10,000 steps a day is 2,000 more steps than 8,000, which is the amount required to decrease all-cause mortality by 50%. We're talking cardiovascular, cancer, etc. Down by 50% simply by walking 8,000 steps a day. And 8,000 steps is maybe like 4 miles, something like that, give or take, depending on stride and all that type of thing. But it's not hard to do. If you just go out for 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at lunch, 15 minutes after work, 15 minutes before bed, you're probably going to get about there. It's really easy to do. It's a great way to kind of break up your day, get away from screens, get away from people. You can obviously listen to podcasts, listen to audiobooks, listen to music. You can do these things. There's benefits to those as well. But one of the best benefits in my mind is to just like free yourself of everything. Again, I left my phone at home. I don't need it. If anybody calls me, I'll get back to them. I get back. Not a big deal. And it just, you're not taking in extra stimuli. You're not having Bluetooth signals or waves going through your head and Wi-Fi, and at least less of it. Obviously, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are pretty ubiquitous in society, but if you don't have the earbuds in, you're doing a lot better than if you do have them in. And if you don't have your phone on you, it's a lot better than if you had your phone on you, etc. So yeah, and obviously hiking too, the benefit is it's going to help you, burn some fat, look a little bit better. Your cardio is going to improve. You're going to, have a lower resting heart rate. You're going to have better blood pressure, more endurance so that you can do, the things you want to do. Maybe it's, playing pickup basketball with the kid in the driveway, or, maybe it's playing flag football with the boys on Saturdays, or whatever it is, right? It's good to have the fitness level required to do the fun things we want to be able to do in life. Maybe it's at a music festival and you want to dance all day. Or you want to go to a club and dance all night. There's so many ways that we can move our body that are good for us. And that's, I think for me personally, I love hiking and walking. But the real key, obviously I've said the benefits of it, but just move your body every day. I know with my church, I know some folks that are, pretty up there, late 80s, 90s, that are moving around pretty darn good. And it's the same answer for all of them. They're all active. They all utilize their brain still. They didn't just retire and sit in front of a TV. They all, they do like work still, even if it's, maybe volunteering 20 hours a week, or, even some of them more than that. Some of them still work, like wild, right? But go to a local high school, walk around the track, walk up and down the stadium stairs at, late 80s, 90s. This is unheard of in most people's circles. And I'm so blessed that I've got these friends that, have been on this planet more than twice as long as me. And they're still kicking it, and they're kicking it well, sharp as a tack, moving well, and just beautiful relationships, amazing families. This is what I think we all really want inside of us. Whether or not we have it doesn't change the fact that I think we long for it. And so, yeah, I don't know. This is a complete tangent, just flow state type of video that I'm recording. I hope you dig it. Who knows? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Work that algo. You know what to do. But yeah, catch you next time. Talk soon. Peace.